I had such great plans for Starbucks last year. Do any of you guys remember that, what was it called, Race Together campaign? Starbucks launched about a year or so ago. The idea being was you go to Starbucks, get yourself your skinny latte or whatever, and on the cup it would say Race Together, and somehow in between you ordering and them making and you getting your coffee, some kind of wisdom would be imparted to you. You would learn some kind of life lesson about how black people are relentless victims of relentless white racism all the time, everywhere. That explains everything, and especially why cops are always picking up black people for no reason whatsoever. Man, when I first heard that, I thought, we have hundreds of thousands of people watching these videos. I had visions of all of them going into Starbucks with their phone, in profile, in landscape mode, and asking the barista, these questions like, hey, last night a musician in Austin coming out of the club at 1 a.m. was beat up, hurt really bad by a bunch of black people. What's up with that? And why does that happen in New Orleans all the time? 2. Or what about this old white guy that got killed the other night in Philadelphia? Or what about Amber Long? She got killed in Philadelphia. It's a black thing, this crime and violence, wildly out of proportion. Why is black crime so out of proportion? Or why are so many reporters, public officials, and people like you in such denial about that? Why is your own CEO in denial about that? I was so eager to have our viewers ask those questions. I mean, look at what we had. Look at what we had to work with.
Well, I think I was, like many of us in the country, watching the cultural divide and the racial issues in Ferguson, in New York, in Cleveland, and most recently in Madison, Wisconsin. And as a result of that, I decided to have a series of town hall meetings internally at Starbucks. In all of those meetings, they were unscripted, but yet they were all the same. And that was people sharing their life experience, and with great empathy, compassion, understanding, I think we all had a better understanding coming out of those meetings what it was like to be that person of color, to be that person who's discriminated against. And I think we started thinking about, given the situation in the country, and perhaps we're at a tipping point with all of this, we were so successful a year ago in raising awareness and kind of elevating the national discussion with 9/11 veterans who were coming home, and we decided that we, in fact, could use our scale for good and our national footprint. But the idea of the cup is a de minimis aspect of this. It's a voluntary act by our people. It's not mandatory. The big idea is the relationship and the co-venture between Starbucks and USA Today, which begins Friday with this insert in millions of newspapers and in our stores as an attempt to understand that we all have unconscious bias, and perhaps through education and understanding, we would be able to move the country forward. We're not going to solve the race problem, but perhaps by leaning into it, we could have a positive effect on the national conversation.
Howard, you were quoted in a Time magazine article recently saying that people warned you not to touch this issue, that it was just too hot button of an issue and not to go near it. So I'm wondering if you could tell us who advised you of that, and why did you go ahead with it?
Well, first off, this is an issue I brought into the boardroom over the last few quarters. And to the board's credit, they understood that this is an issue facing the country, not only people of color, but the entire country, and perhaps we could have a positive effect. But certainly there were people, friends of mine and certain people at Starbucks, who felt that this is not an issue that we should engage in, and I rejected that. I rejected that because if we all individually and collectively continue to be a bystander on something that is dividing the nation, where is this headed? And I think we are better than this as a country. I don't think we've made as much progress as we need to, and I know firsthand by embracing diversity and inclusion in my own company, we have a much better level of ideology, an exchange of ideas, life experience, and I think we're a company that is very, very diverse, and I think our stores are diverse. Our employees are diverse. I'm coming at this because I'm looking at the landscape of the country, the outrage that is going on in cities across the country. Ferguson is not an outliner. This is happening in many places. And how much are we going to absorb and take before we take some steps as citizens, as businesses, as newscasters, to do something that is positive as opposed to being reactive and saying this is the way things are? I don't think this is the way things have to be, and I'm trying to use the assets we have to make a positive difference.
But a day or so after Starbucks launched this campaign, they called it off. Maybe they got wind of what we were up to. Maybe they got wind of the fact that they're just I don't know what they got wind of, but they called it off. God, I'm so sad about that. I thought we were going to have a lot of fun at Starbucks' expense. But just because Starbucks is down with the cause, that does not mean, of course, that the cause is down with Starbucks. There's a lot of argy-bargy going on at Starbucks. You know what the thing is now? Not just in Starbucks, but in other coffee shops like Pete's or your local coffee shop. Bunch of fellas run in, grab the computers, run out, laughing, 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 like a few of these examples.
It's something we all do.
I was actually in the middle of an email.
Having that laptop ripped out of your hands while working isn't so common.
So my hands were on my computer, and all of a sudden it's just in the air away from me, snatched.
Madison Ogrodnik was at this Starbucks at Lincoln Center in Stockton Monday when she says a man swiped the computer and jumped in a getaway car. The 19-year-old admits what she did next wasn't the smartest idea, but says she didn't think, she just reacted.
I jumped on the back of the car and was like hanging on to the antenna. And I remember trying to kick the door, but I just wanted to tell them, like, I'm not mad at you, just give me my stuff back, you know?
A few seconds later, Ogrodnik says she fell off the car. She thought all her documents and memories were gone forever.
Everything's on there. And so I was just so genuinely upset.
That is until some Good Samaritans stepped in. The San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office says many people called 911, described the car, and even said which way it was heading. It didn't take long for deputies to spot the Kia and arrest one adult and 4 minors. And in the car, Ogrodnik's laptop.
I couldn't imagine how much more traumatized I'd be if I didn't have my stuff back.
The Delta College student is physically fine, but trying to wrap her mind around what happened Monday afternoon. She says if it wasn't for the Good Samaritans around her to identify the suspects and help her through the trauma, the day could have ended much differently.
In the society we live in, nobody's really going to jump in and help. And there were a couple of people who really did help me, and they were amazing.
I'm Cornell Bernard in Alameda, where laptop owners on alert after 2 brazen robberies at local Starbucks stores.
I've never been that scared in my life.
Cartoon animator Gene Ham was working on his laptop computer inside this Starbucks Saturday night, creating a new educational DVD for kids.
I present to you Alphabet Around the Globe.
Ham was about to become the victim of a brazen robbery.
If you had a weapon, I wouldn't be talking to you.
He says 4 young men wearing hoodies stormed inside the Starbucks, one of them headed right for him.
Suddenly he just grabs my laptop right out of my hand, knocks the drink over, and he's out the door with it.
Another customer had her laptop stolen during the strong-arm robbery and tried chasing down the suspects, but they got away through the parking lot. On July 18th, 2 customers had their laptops stolen inside this Starbucks on Park Street in Alameda by suspects who police say ran in and ran out.
In both incidents, the suspects were anywhere from late teens to early 20s, ranging between 2 and 4 suspects.
Police say laptop thefts can happen anywhere, but can't say for sure if these crimes are related.
Be vigilant. Try to stay alert and aware of your surroundings.
Some customers taking no chances.
I'm often either I have a friend with me, so I'll ask them, keep an eye on it. Otherwise, I'll put it in my bag.
For now, Gene Ham says his animation career is on hold.
So I got to start over. I got to get new software. I have to get a new computer. And I think Starbucks owes me that.
Starbucks tells ABC 7 News it's working with local authorities on the investigation. The safety of customers and employees remains a top priority.
That's right. Alameda police just a short while ago tell me thieves hit 2 coffee shops tonight, and one is at this Pete's on Webster Street. It happened around 6:35 this evening, and it's the second time thieves have targeted this location. It was a quiet Tuesday evening inside the coffee shop. A patron tells me he stopped in at Pete's to do some work on his computer. Suddenly, a group of teens came inside. One approached the patron.
Like, guy walked in and grabbed my laptop, like, from my lap and ran away.
The victim says he chased the thief for about a block, but the thief got away. When the patron got back to the coffee shop, he realized that his wallet and backpack had also been stolen.
One of the guys hit him, and another guy snatched his laptop, and before you know it, they're all running out.
One coffee shop employee who asked us not to identify him says this is the second robbery he's witnessed here in 3 weeks. He says the first time, a thief struck a woman sitting outside and ran off with her laptop.
I'm just overwhelmed because it has happened 2 times here, and working here for a year and then some, I just think that it's really bad business.
Alameda police released this surveillance video of laptop thefts at other coffee shops. On September 4th, thieves stole a laptop from a customer at the Starbucks on Blanding Avenue. Investigators say minutes later, the same 2 suspects in their teens or early 20s went to the Starbucks on Park Street and grabbed a laptop from another customer. As of this night, police say there have been 11 incidents, but that the suspect descriptions are not the same in all the cases. Investigators are advising patrons to take precautions.
Consider using tracking software so that you can find it if it does become lost or stolen.
The victim in the latest robbery tells me he was sitting by the front door and he was distracted.
I'm definitely going to be more careful. Like, I was not prepared for this. Like, I was like kind of lost in sending that email out.
Police say these are crimes of opportunity, and they're asking anyone who recognizes the suspects in the surveillance video to contact police.
What you're witnessing is a very violent robbery which will leave a customer seriously injured and 2 laptops stolen, all in a split second. This is the Starbucks in the town of Colma. 3 men enter, one wearing a Giants jersey, one has a shirt with a pineapple on it, and the last has on a Warriors hoodie. They enter the coffee shop and walk out of frame. Notice the table to the left of the screen. There are 3 people sitting, each one has a laptop. You are looking at a video from a fixed security camera inside the Starbucks, given to Crime 4 by the Colma Police Department. They hope maybe someone can identify one or more of the men. Now notice the man in the blue shirt. He gets up and walks out of frame. Then the man wearing the pineapple shirt appears in video, but then he also walks out of frame. Then the man in the Warriors hoodie appears and begins to pace around. He is then briefly joined by the man in the pineapple shirt. This pacing goes on for what appears to be a few minutes, and at one point, he stops and stares with both hands inside the hoodie. Then finally, the man who was sitting at the table returns to his seat. Then, just as the man wearing the pineapple shirt reappears, the man sitting at the table leaves again. Then if you watch carefully, the man wearing the Warriors hoodie nods to give the okay. In case you missed it, here's the nod again. Then as he walks out the door, the man in the Giants jersey, let's stop the video right here, snatches 2 laptops. Then he darts out the door. This is when it turns violent. The man in the pineapple shirt also tried to steal a laptop, but when he tried to escape, one of the customers tries to grab him. He punches her in the face. She was treated for a fractured nose and eye socket. If you can identify any of the men involved, Colma Police would like for you to give them a call. There was also a 4th man who was driving a Mercedes-Benz S-Class, where all 3 men jumped into and sped away.
Job 1 at Starbucks is don't make those black kids angry.